Olympic champion, then double champion. Clearly the man understands combat sports. On another level.
He knows how to win.
And he knows how to win.
And Mighty Mouse told me when he went to train with him, he said he was so impressed by how systematic he was and the game plan, his strategy, and how he puts everything together.
Yeah.
He said, I've never seen anybody that's so meticulous in their preparation.
After the way he totally dismantled Cejudo in their first fight, you'd forgive the longtime flyweight king Demetrious Johnson for being more than a little confident coming into their UFC 227 rematch. But when he was asked about Cejudo's improvements, Mighty Mouse was actually quite complimentary, giving him props for the resume he had built up since fight number 1.
Yeah, so Henry Cejudo, he's had 2 years to get some more fights under his belt. He's fought Joseph Benavidez, Sergio Pettis, and Wilson Hayes. So he looks better. He looks more patient, more calm about the way he goes about his fights. But the difference between me and Sergio and Wilson Hayes are two different beasts. Sergio is a stand-up guy. Wilson Hayes is a grappler. It's where I can mix both those things in very well.
However, even with Johnson's status as the world's greatest mixed martial artist, Cejudo's game had elevated to such an extent that he was able to be competitive in there with DJ. In fact, he was so competitive that he ended up getting the better of Demetrious in a lot of exchanges, narrowly edging him out on the scoreboards for a split decision victory. It was not a result that was without its share of controversy. But all in all, Henry had proven himself to be among the greatest fighters on the planet today. A remarkable achievement. And while Johnson was solemn in defeat, he still gave props to Cejudo for his improvements.
The first time, we just fought, like it was just fighting. But this time he was more patient. I can hear his corner just saying 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I can feel each time he would get a takedown, he would just hold. It wasn't like he postured past my guard, got a submission game going on. It was more him just holding me, not me getting off my back, started moving his weight. But just him literally being patient, him not crossing a distance. I'll throw the leg kick, and he'll get it off 3 shots, and then I'll block him. It wasn't like nothing landed significantly. And then the stand-up numbers, I think I outstruck him. But it happens, I don't think the judges know how to score leg kicks. But it is what it is.
These days, the pair seem to be on very good terms. In fact, they're so pally with one another that they often appear in each other's videos on YouTube, and once even sat down together to watch back their razor-close second fight. TJ Dillashaw had every right to be confident in a matchup against Henry Cejudo. As one of the pound-for-pound greats of the sport, few would argue that the bantamweight king had a real shot at double champ status.
He hasn't dealt with my movement. He hasn't dealt with me mixing it up. I'm going to knock out Henry Cejudo. I'll take that belt. He's been begging me to take that belt off his shoulder. It's too much weight for him. That gold medal's light. This UFC belt's got a lot more weight to it. I'm going to take it right off his shoulder.
The issue? Well, he well and truly bit off more than he could chew when he decided to drop 10 pounds down to flyweight and beat the 125-pound king Henry Cejudo. And yeah, that weight cut seemed to do a number on his chin. And as soon as Cejudo landed, it had a major effect. And, well, if you know anything about TJ Dillashaw, you'll know that he does not take losses well. And given the controversy over the stoppage, or at least his own problem with it, Dillashaw was in a state of total rage when all was said and done. But let's not forget that he was taking EPO through this camp, so it's pretty hard to feel sympathy for him here. He was stripped of his bantamweight title shortly after, losing 2 years of his prime on a USADA ban that left TJ as public enemy number 1 within the fight game. Marlon Moraes is a pretty nice guy, who was never going to get himself dragged into any major trash-talking exchanges ahead of his UFC 238 vacant bantamweight title fight with Henry Cejudo. When asked by the media for his take on the reigning flyweight champion as he returned to 135, Moraes was full of praise for the Olympian's overall improvements over the years.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great wrestler. He been improving every fight. He showed his last couple, his striking is getting way better. And I'm excited. I'm excited to put on a show and prove I'm the best.
As always, Henry made sure to bring some theatrics to the table against Magic Marlon Moraes, bringing his crown with him to the first face-off, while holding a magician's hat and a magic wand. What followed was more Cejudo ridiculousness. But all in all, these guys were by no means sworn enemies going in. When the fight came, an incredibly strong start from Moraes left us all thinking he was about to come away with one hell of a statement victory. However, Cejudo pulled off one of the all-time great mid-fight switch-ups, turning the pressure on towards the end of round 2 to eventually change his fortunes and score the finish in round 3. You do see a lot of sore losers in the sport of MMA, because look, losing ain't easy, but Marlon Moraes was certainly gracious in defeat, admirably so. He gave the newly crowned Triple C props for his ability to adapt mid-fight, and claimed that Henry's pressure and consistency eventually broke him.
I think I got tired, I think I let slip a little bit off my hands. I was doing well in the beginning. I was controlling the range. And I thought I was hurting him, but he kept coming. And I think he started to get me, He started getting me, he started to frustrate me. And he took over and he won. He won the fight. Hats off for him, Henry's a great champion. He won flyweight. Now he come up 135, he won the 35 belt, I gotta go home, go to the gym, work harder, and try and knock that door again.
Dominick Cruz is a guy who really knows how to go for the jugular with his trash talk. And when it came to fighting Henry Cejudo, he definitely did his best to try and hit him where it hurts most, taking aim at his upbringing through both the wrestling and mixed martial arts games, describing his experience as a fighter entitled without being too specific. There was a solid level of competition tension between these two as they geared up for their face-off. And of course, Henry was sure to bring in a level of theatrics, taking out a pair of cushions adorned with TJ Dillashaw and Cruz's faces, kicking them both off the stage. And seriously, the height difference here was pretty staggering. When the fight did come around, Cejudo eventually found the way by way of a TKO stoppage, after catching Cruz clean, forcing the referee's intervention. However, it wasn't a stoppage that came without its fair share of controversy. Cruz spent most of his post-fight media tour talking about the job done by veteran ref Keith Peterson, and how he felt that the stoppage was far too early. He also leveled some accusations at Peterson for smelling like alcohol and cigarettes, which is truly a crazy thing to say. Was it just the ever-present hand sanitizer that the Dominator was getting a whiff of, or something more nefarious? Well, either way, when the subject of Cejudo came up, Cruz was pretty jagged in his edges, telling the now-retired Henry that if he truly does want to walk away from the sport on that kind of note, then that was fine by him. But with a characteristically sour note throughout, Cruz made it clear that he doesn't think Cejudo would have the type of negotiation power he thought he would in retirement. But what do you think of the return of Henry Cejudo? And how does he stack up against the reigning divisional king Aljamain Sterling? Let us know in the comments section below, before checking out our feature on Bo Nickel, the man who looks set to be the future of the 185-pound division. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.